All right, so we are going to open the Norton Conservation Commission regularly scheduled meeting for Monday, July 10, 2023. It is currently 6:32, and as is required, we will begin with the reading of the preamble. So, Dan, you're on.
Pursuant to Governor Healey's March 29, 2023 bill extending several COVID-era policies and programs by allowing virtual meetings to continue from March 31st, 2023 to March 31st, 2025, this meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at the end of this agenda. Members of the public attending this public hearing/meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by raising their hand virtually or pressing *9 if participating by phone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Norton Cable website www.nortonmediacenter.org, an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting.
All right, thank you, Dan. So tonight we have participating myself, Chair. Unfortunately, Lisa Carroza, Vice Chair, is unable to attend. We also have Dan Pearson, Tom Avest, and Mark Fernandez. And unfortunately, Ron O'Reilly is unable to attend. And we have our Director, John Thomas, along with our Assistant, Megan. Is it Harrop or is there another name now, Megan?
It's Harrop.
Harrop. Well, welcome back. Our first item on the agenda is a notice of intent for 36 Dean Street, Goosebrook Garage. It does not yet have a file number. And do we have a representative of the applicant for that project?
It appears that we do not this evening.
Yeah. So everything was in place with the filing, and presumably they were going to join us?
Yeah, they may have thought it was in person. I tried to tell them that it was over Zoom. So I guess, everything, we have a DEP file number for the project. I've actually talked to DEP about this project because it's actually per DEP's request that they do most of this work. So I guess we just table it to the next meeting.
All right, I guess.
Since there's not someone here.
Yeah, and you're right. They may have misunderstood, so we just need to clarify for next time around. And all right, so I guess we will look for
we need a motion to continue.
Yes, and I think it's reasonable that we continue for our next meeting, which is July 24th.
Okay, motion to continue to the July 24th meeting.
Second.
And just for clarification, do you have that file number?
We do. I believe it's 1128. Isn't that correct, Megan?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. So a motion is on the table made by Dan, and I forget who seconded that. Was that Tom?
A second. Yep.
Yeah, Thomas seconded for a motion to continue this hearing until our next meeting, which is July 24th. for file number 250-1128. Again, a roll call vote starting with Dan and Mark. How do you vote?
Aye.
Just prior to me voting, I was informed that I neglected to be sworn in for my new term after being reappointed. And just wanted to clarify, am I to abstain or still allowed to vote as a member?
Well, there's a certain element of continuity, and I don't know if you, you know what? I don't think it matters, but it's whatever you want to do.
All right, for the sake of it, I'll abstain.
And Tama?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. So even though it's not, well, we have a quorum, so I don't think the rules are that muddy that we can't overvote if one member
So
abstains.
you have a quorum, but Mark needs to abstain to all decisions.
All right, well, the good news is we don't have a huge agenda tonight, but now you have your reminder to run in and raise your right hand, etc. So our next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for file number 250-1126. It is a abbreviated notice for resource area delineation for 1 Dean Street. This has been continued for several meetings, and it is a project with Robert Silberti on the application. Do we have an representative of the applicant?
Rob, I think you're muted.
Yes, we do. Rob Celebrity. Good evening.
All right. It looks like you're, well, it probably, do we have the possibility of having him share the plan and proceeding?
I can share the plan on his behalf.
Okay.
Can everyone see this plan up on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So Rob, you want to just talk about the project? I think this is actually the
Sure.
first time it's been in front of us, so.
It's located at 1 Dean Street. It currently has a 1-bay garage metal building and a property commercial building, and I would say about 25% of the lot is currently cleared. And it's 2 zones. It's in the village commercial zone and the residential zone, and the demarcation zoning lies on the plans there. Michelle Grenier, she was supposed to be on at this meeting, but she's coming later. But we had it flagged and met John to review the flagging, and did that. Had to look at different areas a couple times. There's a vernal pool or potential vernal pool with the property, identified on the plans, and an isolated wetland in the center of the property. That's pretty much it. Any other background?
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, your audio kind of faded in and out, and maybe John, we can expand the plan to show where the buffer zones are, and so that we can see them adequately.
Sure. So just to kind of go over this project site, we can actually start in the back. There's a large BVW system that runs the north to south westerly portion of this property. It has FEMA flood zone X associated with it, which is the 500-year flood. You can see that the green line is depicted on this plan is the 100-foot buffer, and then they have the 25-foot policy is shown in red, depicted on the plan. When I went out there, this area was reconfigured slightly, and so was this area over here, because I found that there was more hydrophytic and hydrologic conditions over in this area. So the applicant retweaked the delineation there, and then also down here, I didn't see any flags when I was out there, so they put some more flags and located those. Additionally, there was a isolated wetland that was identified by myself here that the applicant, it's non-jurisdictional, but for water quality certificate purposes, they did locate it for the next stage of their plans and permitting for this project site. Additionally, there is a potential vernal pool on the site. They have provided a vernal pool report. I actually supplemented another vernal pool report, which shows that there's salamanders and wood frog juveniles that are growing in here, which would make it potentially sort of viable if the applicant chooses to go that route. And additionally, there was another area here, which I found upon investigation, that connects to another resource area that's northerly off-site. So they reflagged this and they located it. So the delineation as it currently is marks the majority of the wetland resource areas. And I would be comfortable with the commission potentially issuing an ORAD for this project, provided that, for instance, this area for the vernal pool be captured in that ORAD conditions. So that's really it for this project, I think. And if the commission is, comfortable to issue an ORAD for the next meeting, I think that would be sufficient.
Just a quick question. So the entire rear of the site is wetland,
Correct.
and there is this long dash to short dash line. Is that the floodplain, or what does that represent? I can't quite get that. In the back, it's all the way right there. Yeah.
This right here,
Yeah.
this is the FEMA Zone X that they've outlined.
And Zone X is what does that designate?
That's the 500-year floodplain.
So okay, yes. All right. And then it looks like if they eventually, I know it's not in this filing, but if they intend to use the upland in the back, it's kind of limited space for access. It seems they would have to thread along one border there.
Yeah, they'd have quite the task for gaining entry and access to the back rear, but I think that, for instance, it would potentially be feasible if they showed some proper BMPs and the like, but that's for them to figure out at the next phase.
Right.
I have a question about the isolated vegetated wetlands, the 27-181-0 area.
Mhm.
It seems like the other areas have that 100-foot buffer also marked out, but this one doesn't.
So isolated vegetated wetlands do not have buffer zones associated with them.
Okay.
If they meet isolated land subject to flooding calculations, then they do. But for instance, for this one, I retract that statement. They do not. They themselves are a resource area. They did do a calculation for this this wetland C, and it does not meet the criteria for isolated land subject to flooding either, because it's based on the size and the volume parameters. So it doesn't meet those engineering criteria. But besides that, I'd say that, I think the important thing to take from this is that, there was another additional wetland that was mapped and delineated over in this corner here. And then that, for instance, this area may be more sensitive than a potential vernal pool.
Gotcha.
All right.
Oh, and we received notices, I guess, for the end of the year for late notices from the legal. I guess this was one of the projects that we received 2 late notices. This was one of them that we did receive a late notice for. So that needs to be paid. So we're just waiting for that to get closed for payment. So I guess by the next meeting that we have, hopefully that would be ironed out to issue a potential ORAD. Is that correct, Rob?
Yeah, are you referring to the advertisement fee? Is that what you're
Yes. That's
Oh
correct.
yeah, no, that's already paid for. I wasn't aware of the fee being outstanding, but I took care of that over the phone today.
Yeah, I apologize too. I wasn't aware of it either. So,
I took care of that today.
all right, thank you.
All right, so we can close this, but we can't issue the decision until we have a quorum. Is that a fair statement, or are we stuck not being able to close it?
I'm not, I would refrain from closing it. That's why I would say close and issue at the next meeting.
Okay. All right. So we will, because of the procedural issues, we will continue this hearing, file number 250-1126, until the next meeting, which is July 24th. And I think if there are no further questions, we can consider that motion for a continuation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to continue file 250-1126 to the July 24th meeting of the commission.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
So Grenier, how many members are on your commission?
7.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a quorum.
We have 4 on this evening, but only 3 of them can vote.
Oh, okay, because they're,
Yeah.
John, what are the other 2?
Well, we have a vacancy on the commission right now that we have not been able to fill. So normally there would be 7.
Okay.
And the other 2 members that are not here tonight are Lisa Carosa, who is vice chair, and Ron O'Reilly.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because,
One of our members has his term recently expired since
Yeah,
the last meeting. And
no,
he
I
needed-
just wanted to ask, that's all. Yeah, it's okay. I just wanted to ask.
And Michelle, for the record, just put your last name on the record so we can put it in the minutes.
Oh, sure. So it's Michelle with 1 L, and it's Grenier. I'm the wetland person. I delineated the wetlands. Yeah.
So I think we've gotten that wrong. I think someone put it in with a V on in the minutes. So
Okay, it's M. I'll repeat it. M as in Michael, Ichele, last name G as in George, Grenier.
thank you very much.
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
Thank you.
and we have, I think we have a motion made by Dan, and I can't recall who seconded it at this point. Was that you, Tama?
Second, I don't think anybody had quite yet.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. All right, so unless there's further discussion, we can go ahead with our voice vote, starting with Dan and Mark.
Aye.
Abstain.
And Tama?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. And so we'll be wrapping everything up on this hearing at our next meeting. And we should have a quorum without any question at that point.
Thank you,
And our
Mr.
next-
Chairman.
You bet. Our next item on the agenda is collection of certificate of compliance and request for extension. First one is file number 250-0070. Wow.
Yeah.
Ancient history.
Yeah.
So 172 West Main Street. Is this, I mean, I looked at the map. So this is the garage and house just beyond, heading out of town, just beyond the Bella Music.
This is
that-
correct. It's between where currently Goat City Pub is located and also right next to Bella Music. You're right.
And I couldn't really identify what the work was. So the work involved the garage, because
Yeah,
if it was
so-
that far back.
If you want, I'll actually just share my screen just to kind of give everybody a kind of a walkthrough as to kind of what they're requesting.
Yeah.
and I guess they are selling the property, and they asked basically if there's any loose ends on the project for compliance, and I found that project DEP file number 70 has not been closed out through a COC. So I guess it was in response to in the 80s there was some fill being placed near the wetlands, and it was not permitted. So at the time the conservation director requested that they file an after action notice of intent. And they did that, and they did the work, but they never got a COC for it. So the limit of and I talked to Craig Siganowski, who works for RIM Engineering, and I spoke to him and I said, just overlay the two maps and just make sure that the limit of the fill that's out there coincides with the current conditions as it is today. He did that. We looked at the plans, and the fill limits, the grades, and everything, they have not changed since then. So therefore, I would suggest to the commission, pending the quorum issue, is that that you issue a COC for this project, because it would appear that the work that was done back then is consistent with what is now out there, and the whole area is stabilized with vegetation and gravel.
It is ironic that I actually have a clear memory of this situation, because it was fairly soon after the full implementation of the Wetlands Protection Act, and the owner at the time was irritated, and it was David Opatka who served an enforcement order that led to the filing and so on, and he requested first me to go as a commission member, and second a police officer. So kind of etched in my memory, but it went well. The police officer was a friend of the owner, was able to talk him down, and everybody's been happy ever since. Now, what are we going to do about the lack of a full quorum for this vote?
Yeah, that's kind of the issue that I'm having right now. So, I mean, you have 4 members, so you have technically the members, but you just have one that can't vote. So majority would be, we need 4 votes for any sort of signed document, because we have a 7-member board. So we need 4 votes, and if we have 3, then it doesn't hold weight. So, that's kind of the unfortunate thing, is that we can just queue this till the next meeting, but I have no control over the situation as of right now, and I don't think anyone else on the board does either.
Well, I mean, there's nothing controversial here.
Yeah.
The work has been completed. It's been stabilized. It's been no further work for 40 years. So, this is plain and simple dotting the I and crossing the T. So we'll need to table it, and it sounds like we're going to need to table the extensions as well.
Yeah, and those extensions don't expire. I made sure to get in contact with Condyne, so those extensions don't expire by the next meeting. So if we need to just basically wet ink the signatures, we can do that at the next meeting.
Just to potentially save time here, and it's not that I'm trying to get out of a meeting, but is there really any point doing the rest of it, since we won't even have a quorum to sign out of the meeting, to adjourn the meeting? We might as well just.
Yeah, well, Dan, I know how to do that without a quorum, but anyway, yeah, I understand what you're saying. So I think for anyone who is in the audience listening, there's really nothing controversial here. It's just a procedural issue that will be corrected for next time, and everything on this agenda will be completed then. Anyone in the audience have questions about that?
No, we're all set with comment and we'll plan on attending the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, John, is there any questions that need to be answered about these extensions? Is this,
No, there's nothing. It was just procedural to get them on for the extension. They need lots 1 and 2 extended to complete those projects. And I think the term for those was up this year, so it was just procedural.
yeah,
They've
so
been
it's not
doing a
really-
good job.
I mean, unless you just want to see how we conduct our meetings, that's fine too. But I don't see that it'll be a sticking point.
I think I've been here quite a bit, so.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
All right, no problem.
Okay,
All right, considering the procedural difficulty, I don't think we can do final action on the remaining of the agenda. Even the minutes are very limited in scope and pretty non-controversial, but we will deal with that next time as well.
So I think the remaining items, I guess, on our agenda, and I apologize to everybody. We heard about this, I think it was 4 o'clock today, so I apologize. Is the meeting for the discussion for the Wading Brook?
Wading River Estates, that
Yeah,
one?
Wading River Estates. Is that Brian? Is that you?
It is.
Okay. I think we can still have that discussion.
Sorry. That would be wonderful. All right. Sorry, I had to step away for a second. What did I Wading River Estates? We're opening a discussion on that.
Yeah, I think we can still have a discussion on that because we don't need a vote on anything.
All right.
So Brian, you have co-host abilities.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you very much.
Maybe we should just note, just for the record, that we're on the agenda. We're dropping down to item 6. We're basically tabling everything and dropping down to item on the agenda.
Okay.
All right, Brian, you're on.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Brian Dunn, I'm the president and principal of NBL Land Development. My office is at 5 Bristol Drive in southeastern Massachusetts. And with me this evening on the Zoom call is Mark Mason and Ryan Corcoran, who are my client for this proposed project. Mr. Chairman and members of the Conservation Commission, as you may remember, we permitted through my office a condominium development of 36 units. And we actually came through Conservation and Planning Board, and the Planning Board was really a special permit under Article 19, which has an affordable component to it. We were recently in front of your commission about a year ago and extended the order of conditions that was issued for this project. And since then, since the price of things have gone up so much in construction material, and especially in regards to earth material, we came up with a different plan that reduce the amount of pavement, reduce the amount of the limit of work and clearing, and keep the same amount of units with a different architectural design for the building. So with your permission and with Mr. Thomas' permission, I'm going to share my screen and then show you, I can actually show you the original set of plans in the layout as well as the revised set of plans. Now I just have to remember how to do this in Zoom because I'm a Teams kind of a guy now these days. Okay. Cheers. can't see.
Do you want me to share the plan? I can share it on my screen.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's because I have to put it on this other screen. Sorry, I'm using two screens. Okay, let's see if I can do it. If I can't do it in a couple of seconds, then you can take over, okay? Okay. So here's the revised plan. We're still, at this point, still keeping the front house with the underground drainage in here, in this area here. We've kept the swale that we have around the edge of the property. But I think that when we do the final design, this swale might be able to come in a little bit more and have less of a limit of work in this area. This is the area of the proposed septic system that we have a Board of Health approval on now. So the sizing of it wouldn't change. And then you can see the difference in the layout with the triplex units here with the access to the front of the building instead of around the back of the building, if you may remember, and I can go to that screen too to show you the other development where we have access around the back of the units over here as well. We have road laid pavements coming around. And so this whole circular area, if you can see where my mouse is going, in regards to where the proposed driveway is going around the back of the building. So really, same amount of units, less pavement, less roadway, and we're decreasing the limit of work, and especially where it comes to the riverfront here. So let me, if you want, I can share my screen again and show you the other plan.
I just have a quick question. Is this on Newland Street? Is that?
No, this is off of
South Worcester.
South Worcester.
Oh, South Worcester. Okay, because
You can see South. Yeah.
having difficulty with I can't recall exactly this project.
Well, let me stop sharing this screen, and then I'll pull up the other one to be able to see what I was the original. I'm going to pull up the Board of Health plan so you can see the full development now. Okay. Okay. See now we're cooking gas. Okay, so that's the original development that was originally approved. We have an order of conditions that won't expire until 2025 now. We have site plan approval for this up until about a year from now. That's still valid. So this is the existing house that's going to remain. And as you can see, here's the pavement going around the back of the other units in this area here. And then if you notice from the other plan, all of these units have gone away. All of the driveway has gone away around the septic system. So what we've really done is changed and kept all the units to be off of this roadway alignment here. So we've kept the alignment pointing to and changed the style of the home. So we don't have all of this pavement at the back of this area or this retaining wall that we have. So as you may remember, some members may have been here when we first permitted this. We went through peer review and made all of the revisions that John Cheshire had requested in regards to our drainage design and our site plan design. We've also gone through a peer review through the Board of Health for the septic system that's still going to remain in this area on our site plans. So really what we're trying to do is give you a heads up of where things are going to go with this revision. And I know that had planned for a little bit now. You know, we want to make sure that have any comments or any reduction that we try to, get them out front. Make the for the final design incorporating the comments.
So Brian, you're cutting in and out, but I think I'm just gonna take it and just say that you're coming in front of us to get a sense from the commission whether this project could be done through an amended order of conditions. And
Yeah.
I will basically let the commission know that, as long as the limit of work is, consistent to what was previously approved, you can make whatever sort of changes or amendments, inside that limit of work area that you were pre-approved to do, and work with that. I think, just take some things into consideration is that, it will require another set of probably stormwater review, and then probably you'll have to re-notify abutters and go through that process. So I think that this could be something that the commission would probably want to see an amended order conditions for.
Then we would be that as well. I think that the drainage design will be tweaked a little bit. How get fixins that we have, but we've kept fixin areas as part of this.
Yeah, and I will say that everything that was environmentally sensitive will also be adhered to. Obviously, I think there was some turtle nesting and stuff that had to be incorporated with this project. And the stormwater features themselves don't look like they're really receiving much change or anything else associated with this project. So I think that this should be a fairly easy transition to the new design. So that way you and your client can get going on this, through us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, we're fully aware of turtles, and we were aware of them going. We were environmentally sensitive to by design, working with the Conservation Commission and working with the agent at the time, as well as John Cheshire. I don't know if he's still your peer review consultant, but all of that stuff will be pushed forward in this new design cement plan. Thank you very much for the comments.
Thank you.
All right. So, John, we'll be expecting further discussion of the changes, but I kind of agree that if this project is smaller in scope, and within the previously approved footprint, that we can review it as an amended order.
Agreed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mark and Ryan, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
No, thank you.
Okay.
All
Thank you
right.
very- Thank you
So
very-
our next submission deadline, if you want to get this going, would be the 2 weeks from today. So that would be the 24th.
Okay,
All right, you got some work to do.
absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and effort, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe if you could just troubleshoot the audio, it was kind of fading in and out, and I'm not sure the cause.
You know what? I'm telling you that I've noticed when we start to share things, even with a Teams call, that this happens sometimes. So
Okay.
I think it's technology.
All right. All right. So we're all set with that issue then.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day, everyone.
All right. So next item is report from staff.
So we received another project today. So we'll have that'll be on our agenda. It's another amendment. So we'll have a pretty busy agenda next meeting. But I think it should go pretty easy. So that's it. That's all I have.
Okay.
All right.
So Mark, we're on to town hall. And
I'm sending is it Lucia? She's still the town clerk?
Lucia, yeah.
I'm sending
She
her-
is, she's training there's a new gentleman there, Peter Lally is his name, who swore me in today.
All right, I'm sending her an email as we speak to coordinate a time for me to get out there between now and the next meeting, so.
Yeah, I think
The committee members for not being on top of that.
I don't think it's just us. I think there's a lot of other members that their term has expired too. That's at least what she told me. So I think this week in this set of meetings is going to be difficult for people to make, votes.
but I
She
don't
asked me
think,
when Carrie was coming in. I was like, I don't think she's gonna.
No, she's not.
I don't think you need an appointment though. They operate kind of on the fly. So
Well,
is,
Mr. Chairman, shall we entertain a motion?
I think we can.
Sorry?
I think we can entertain a motion.
Okay. Well, I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting then.
All right. We have a second?
Second.
Oh, but we can't vote on it because we don't have a quorum, so we're just gonna have to sit here.
With our thumbs.
Way to
It's
go,
like-
Mark.
I think there was a song once, wasn't there, about somebody who didn't have a token and so was stuck in a T forever or something like that? Or maybe
Charlie
it was
and
a
the
New York
MTA.
subway. I don't
Charlie and the MTA.
know. The NTA.
I often wondered why, he in the song he used to say hi. Somebody used to pass him lunch every day. I didn't know why they couldn't pass him a quarter, but that, it was a song. All right. Good night, everybody.
All right, see ya. Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Bye.
Bye.